March 3, Alabama rigs. What is an easy way to store your Alabama rigs without them getting all tangled up? There's a lot of different things that's been invented. This is one of the simplest and the easiest ways to store your Alabama rigs. Good morning, guys and girls. March 3, reading from a Catch a Better Life book on the Catch a Better Life channel on YouTube. We also post these on our Facebook, Jimmy Houston Outdoors, all capital letters, over 600,000 people on that Facebook page. If you're not subscribed to the Catch a Better Life channel on YouTube, subscribe to it right now. If you're not subscribed to Jimmy Houston Outdoors Fishing on YouTube, subscribe to it right now. We have a third channel, Jimmy and Chris Houston's Twin Eagle Ranch, which we have all of our deer on there. And the deer are really a lot of fun. On this channel right here, Catch a Better Life, your life will get better. Absolutely no doubt about it. Your life will get better. We have a devotional for every single day built around the scripture and built around fishing. We have a fishing tip for every day. So you're going to become a better fisherman at the same time. 2 Kings 6:16 says, do not fear. Golly, we see that a lot in the Bible, don't we? Do not fear. So what do we do as Christians? We fear. Yeah, we do. We fear. The Bible tells us not to do that. Do not fear. For those who are with us are more than those who are with them. Oh, this is one of my favorite stories in the Bible right here. I love this story right here. Let's see what I wrote about it. One thing about bass fishing to remember is if you catch one, there's usually more close by. Bass are rarely alone. If there are a bunch, you call that a honey hole. Bass are rarely by themselves. They're kind of like deer. Deer, mostly are their family animals too. But bass are the same way. You hear schools of fish? Yeah, they're school fish. They certainly are. If we are saved, you and me, we're just like those bass. We are never, ever alone. God is always with us. God is with us everywhere we go, 24/7, 365 days a year. You can live as long as Methuselah, and God's still going to be with you every single day. The scripture for today comes from, I've already said this, one of my favorite stories about God's presence with us. One of my favorite stories in the Bible. The prophet Elisha's servant, surrounded by a great army. Elisha and his servant were surrounded by a great army. He cried out in despair to Elisha, what shall we do? What shall we do? Elisha answered and simply asked God to open his servant's eyes and let him see. Let him see. God complied, and the servant saw mountains that were full of horses and chariots of fire. Looked all around him, mountains of horses. And he said, do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them. God's army surrounded them, and they were ready there to defend them. God's army showed up. God's army showed up. Can I tell you? It's still there today to fight for your battles and fight my battles. God's army is still right there. God's army on chariots of fire, or God's army in a single angel or 1,000 angels dispatched to help you and me in our times of needs. Here's our tip for today. We're talking about Alabama rigs, the way to store Alabama rigs. An Alabama rig, when it's all flared out, they get all tangled up. You can't hardly put them away or anything. Rubber washers, that's right. Just round rubber washers work well for storing umbrella rigs. All you do with that rubber washer is you run it over the top of the Alabama rig and you just slide it down to where your baits are. And that way that your deals are all in one small deal. So that's the easy way to do that. Now, if you're going to leave it tied onto a rod, you can't do it that way. You have to use some other way. But there's a lot of different ways to store an Alabama rig. With those little rubber washers, because you can have 8 or 10 of those laying in your tackle box or in your box where you carry your umbrella rigs. Just have 8 or 10 rubber washers in there. Slide the umbrella washer over that. It just needs a little hole in it. The rubber washer over the top of the head of your bait, and then slide it down the wires all the way back to where the hooks are and your jigs and your Lucky Strike swim baits are tied. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. And remember, I sure do love you.